What's up, Jamathans? Virus just released a new update that added a couple of new disasters and changes to the game, and in this video we'll go over all the important things in the patch. So like, if icicles no longer clip through clouds, fuck that, we don't care about that. This video just includes all the shit that like actually matters. But yeah, let's not waste time and get right into it. First off, we have two new disasters, which are Monkey and Camera. Monkey just basically runs around the map shitting out bananas everywhere, which if stepped on will fling you into the air and deal 80 damage. These bananas will stay and linger around for a couple of rounds, similarly to the turkey legs in Shedletsky and the counterfeit coins. Another thing to note about the Monkey is he does target players, but his chasing is pretty sporadic and wild. But if he does happen to touch you, he will instantly kill you. The other disaster is the Camera, which spawns at the front of the map and will move around while staying relatively in the center, taking pictures every 4 seconds that deal 70 damage and blind the player for a tiny bit. It specifically looks for your head, so to avoid getting flashed, you need to have your head out of line of sight of any part of the camera, since it flashes everything in its line of sight instead of just like the camera lens. So even if you're behind it and it's looking the other way, it'll still flash you if your head is in its line of sight. It's honestly kind of similar to Green Zone because it forces you to either go to a specific part of the map or take damage. Luckily, this damage is easily out healable, especially with Tanker on Pizza, as you only take around 60 damage, which can easily be fully healed before the next flash. I actually really like this disaster because instead of just dealing a fuck ton of damage to you if you get flashed, instead you take a moderate amount of damage and suffer a unique status effect, which itself is not game ending and can be played around. Moving on, we have a couple of changes to already existing disasters. Screamer is now bloxable like he was when we first saw him in testing, and his attack region was increased. Although this increase doesn't seem substantial because you can still just barely go over him without him being able to hit you, which actually makes him super weak to shotgun air stall, because if you just shotgun air stall right above him, he literally can't do anything and will just eventually die. Shurikens are now updated to version 42 and can actually snipe you out of the air because the trail of the shuriken was updated to kill you if you were caught in between it. And finally, we have raining tacos, which were also updated to version 42, which just adds a sound effect to the tacos when they spawn. That seems kind of insignificant, and it is, unless it's a mystery disaster where before there was literally no indication that it was raining tacos. You would just have to get fucking shit on before, and then you'd be like, oh, it's raining tacos. And that's what happened to Fog Your Duck at like 800 something. But now maybe that won't happen as much because you can actually hear it. You can play around it. Outside of the disasters, we got a couple of interesting changes, like now you won't lose your burger if you unequip it before you fully eat it. So you can unequip it while eating it, and then you'll still be able to use it afterwards. Trowel and Medkit both now play reload sounds, so before they were completely silent, they would just silently reload, but now they also have their own unique sound effects for when they are reloaded. To add to that, a ton of gears now have a reload bar, which while nice, I'm kind of confused on its utility because after using a gear and switching to a different gear, you don't see that reload bar anymore. It disappears. You're never going to use a rocket launcher or a burger or hot sauce or a medkit and not immediately switch back to a different gear like coil. So this reload bar is just completely useless. Which is unfortunate because I would really like to have a reload bar, but most of the time I just can't fucking see it. But maybe that'll get changed, and honestly it's not that big of a deal if it doesn't. The last thing I want to cover is the death of the panic glitch spot. Yes, unfortunately, the funny panic spot is now blocked off, and if you try to clip into it, it seems like it always sends you straight to hell, and you just fall right under the map, and if you don't, like, recover in time, or if you do it at a bad time, you'll just, like, instantly die. But that about covers it for this update. On the service level, it looks pretty good, and we'll get a better feel for it when I stream sometime later today, or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. So watch or join later, and yeah, later.